All right, Patrick. Timberwolves and Warriors. I would say that there's just a few storylines, wouldn't you?
Yes, there are a couple to say the least. And I was going to call my guy at Ticket King and ask him what the difference in price is for tickets between
Ooh.
having the Warriors come to town and having the Rockets come to town. I don't think it's double, but I bet it's 50% higher, don't you?
Oh yeah.
They have the Rock and instead of the Rockets, who I watched most of that game last night. I thought Houston was. I thought the youth got to them. They did not make any shots. That big guy they got, that Senguin or whatever it is, he
Sanguine, yep.
loves to complain, man. He goes in, he misses the 2 footer, and it's everybody else's fault. And he's running down the court, and he's going to become a legend for complaining. But yeah, the old timers just look pretty good. I said on Blue Sky, I said on Blue Sky that I'm more worried about Buddy Hield than I am Jimmy Butler because they're going to be guarding Jimmy and they're going to be guarding Steph and they're going to be guarding Draymond and they're going to let Buddy Hield shoot. And he made what, 7 threes last night. He had 22 points at halftime, and he's one of the hidden storylines here in this Timberwolves. Of course, the number one is Jimmy, and having gone psychotic, and now he's back, and by coincidence got there, traded for the guy that we wanted to trade so bad to San Francisco that we took D'Lo off the Warriors' hands because he was Cat's friend, right? Remember that angle? I
Oh
love
yeah.
the yeah, they're
Yeah, best
best they're
buddies.
best buddies. What a bunch of crap! And then even if they are best buddies, who cares? It's basketball. And B, that so you got that angle, but Tibbs took Chris Dunn with the fifth pick, and the sixth pick was Buddy Hield. And everybody thought he should take either Buddy Hield or maybe Jamal Murray, who was the seventh pick. And he took the guy who couldn't shoot, who, by the way, is making a few threes now someplace. Where's he at? I saw him playing. Was Phoenix? Is he playing in Phoenix or
Yeah, I
something?
think that's right.
He's playing again, but he's been drifting around the league for eight
Yeah.
years because he couldn't shoot. So
Yep.
that's just one of the angles. But
That's
then
a good one.
Draymond and Rudy's a great angle too, because not only did he get Rudy in a headlock in a game, but he had great delight last year in the playoffs when he was not occupied, just ridiculing Rudy constantly. So Rudy's I think he's a pro, but he also, I think, is a kind of a semi-sensitive guy.
Hmm.
He does not take those shots too well. I see a double. I see a double throwout in game one or two of them throwing punches at each other, and then maybe having to sit out the next one too. So I see that happening, don't you? Because
Interesting.
Draymond
No.
can't control himself. He can't control himself. He'll take the cheap shot. I mean, last night he got away with a cheap shot that he, didn't have to. He just can't control himself. Everybody who's around him, and I've never been around him, says he's not an idiot off the court, but on the court he's an idiot. He's one of the biggest jackasses in the history of the NBA. So you got that angle, and. You just got, and then you got not drafting Steph. I have, uh, I have reached out to the man who didn't draft Steph, but I got a hunch I'm probably not going to hear back from him. But it
Oh,
was
you reached out to Khan,
I
huh?
I did reach out to David on his old cell phone, which still works, by the way.
Wow.
Now, he's running he started a basketball team in Paris,
Yep.
and they started off in like the second league over there because they weren't qualified to be in the Euro League, but they're in the Euro League now, and he's still listed as the president of that team. And I don't. He found some investors, and I think David Kahn and Paris are made for each other, don't you? I
Oh, it's
mean,
perfect.
he can say bifurcate over there in French, and everybody will know what he's talking about, right? So
No, it's perfect. Absolutely.
yes, but that would be a treat if I could talk to him again. But then again, Mackey and I did get him fined $50,000, so maybe he hasn't forgotten
That
that.
was the fatal flaw.
Yes, that has a tendency cool off a relationship. Who is when you get a guy fined $50,000. So, and also
Yep.
the current owner of the Star Tribune got $50,000 fine for that too, right? The team got a
Yeah, I
$50,000
think you're right.
fine. That's right. I think it was 100,050 for David. So I'm not sure. They might have picked up the tab for David too. I'm not sure. But anyway, just all kinds of angles on this series, and it's going to be fun. I really thought Houston would beat them, but there was really no contest. Houston just did not play, and Golden State. The thing about Golden State, Judd, is they guard you now. It's not like they don't go out there and try to beat you 130 to 120. It's they a lot of low scoring games, and they guard you pretty good. Steph's more than a one dimensional player now. It's not just shooting threes from 30 feet. He'll go to the basket, and they got a little depth. They got 7, 8 players, so the Wolves are favored, right?
I believe so. Yeah. Yep.
Hmm.
What?
How many times have we had a second rounder in the highly predictable NBA where you got a 6 playing a 7? Not too many 6s get to play at
The NBA
home.
playoffs have changed, Pat, for the
Oh
better.
God, yes, yeah, oh yeah.
They used to be the most predictable things.
Oh yes, till you got to the semifinals at least, there was no drama. That's what I said. The league's better than ever because it's unpredictable. And last night, Indiana goes into Cleveland and beats. Or 2 nights ago, did they beat them?
Last night.
Last night,
It's
yeah,
game one.
last night. Indiana goes in and beats Cleveland. Indiana's good. They,
Yes, they are.
they, who'd they take out in the first round rather easily? I can't remember.
The Bucks.
The Bucks. That's right. Yeah, and they had the showdown between the idiots, Halliburton's
Halliburton's
father.
dad.
And Halliburton, I'll give the kid credit. He's pretty classy. He came out and said, "My dad had no business what he's doing." And now they basically banned him from the arena. He said he's not coming to any games because they told him he's not coming to any games.
You know what? Bravo. That's what
Yeah.
we should get. If you're a dad and you're going to be a jackass, I like the
Yes.
banning.
Yes, I do too. I do too. But and the kids, the kid after the game was like, "Yeah, my dad was being stupid." Basically, he said.
Right.
So, his
Right.
dad played in the league, right? Didn't he? Didn't he play?
Halliburton's dad?
I thought maybe I'm wrong.
I don't
Maybe I'm
know.
wrong. I thought he was a guy. I thought he was generational, not at least a player. I thought the old man was a player, but I'm not.
Don't know.
I'm not really sure.
Don't know.
Anyway, yeah, it's going to consume our lives for the next 2 weeks. That's for sure. Although this one,
Mm-hmm.
here's what's weird, right? They play every other day for 5 games, and then if there's a game 6, they got 3 days off. They play Saturday night, and then they don't play again until Wednesday.
It's
What
the
is that?
perfect series until then, too. Like, this is
Yeah.
how it should be.
Now, to some degree, is that based on a big concert being in some place? Now, there's a lot of concerts being canceled.
Okay.
And well, no, and Houston was going to have a concert canceled Tuesday. Of course, they don't have to now. But I think we have Katy Perry here during this thing, but I don't think it conflicts with a home game. But
It could be
Katie,
TV, Pat.
huh?
It could
What?
be TV, too. TV.
Yeah, yeah. They just don't. They want to show something else. Yeah, supposedly, especially now. The TNT's got hockey too,
Yes.
and last year that. Next year, ladies and gentlemen, playoff time. Get ready to be watching it on Amazon and places like. You're not going to be watching it on your regular old channels. You watch some of it, but not all of
Yep.
it. That's for sure.
Yep. Peacock, right?
Yes.
They're in now.
Well,
NBC, obviously.
they gave him a ton of money to basically leave TNT, and then most of those were streaming services, right?
Yeah.
Where you
I
got the
mean,
money
yes.
going.
And plus, the new contract also eliminates the local broadcast partner from the first round entirely. So it's all national. FanDuel, Jim Pete, Grady are out completely.
Out after that, I saw.
It was first round.
What were they letting them do? Some of the home games, or
They were letting they were allowing the local TV partner to do all of the first round side by
really?
side.
That's out now, huh?
But that takes away, obviously, from the national ratings in those
Mhm.
markets. So
Yeah.
that's part of the $1 billion agreement.
Wow. Well, it's yeah, di- different world. We got to go try to find them. It's
I got to
uh,
find a service that allows me to watch a streaming service and flip around. I can't take this.
that's what's bad. Yeah, you can't flip around. You can't go from one to the other. That does drive you crazy. Yeah. And then here's the problem. Like the bride and I have lots of apps, right? Lots of streaming services. Last night we were watching a series, and then she took a break, 15 minutes, and then I went and watched some of a game or something. We could not find we could not find where that we forgot which one of the six ones it was on. Took
No,
took 10 minutes to find the movie because we could or the series because we thought it said English and it said Britain or something. I don't. It was an ordeal.
can't you
Some
go last
pro.
channel? You can't go last
No,
channel?
no, not on that.
Oh
Not
no.
that I know. Not that I know of. Anyway, that was hard work. It's a new world out there. That's for sure.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So what does your gut tell you about this Wolves Golden State series? What do you think?
I think it's going to be a whole lot tougher than the Lakers. The Lakers were a
Sure.
two-man team. These guys got players. I I don't know. I'm 50. I hate to be gutless on it, but I want to see game one to give me a hint as to how those matchups work. But my theory is this:
Mm-hmm.
if every time Jimmy is in a corner or outside and wants to shoot a three, go ahead and let him. Let Jimmy shoot all the threes he wants and guard Buddy Hield and guard Steph, and don't let those guys shoot threes. They got other. Jimmy's probably their. My memory of Jimmy is always the clean out with 14 seconds to go, and you're 1 point down, and he has yet to make one of those shots. He never won a game for him yet. So, in my opinion, I can't
Yeah.
remember one.
Yeah.
And it's amazing though. The whole incident was 7 years ago.
I
It was
know.
2018. It doesn't seem like it can be that long ago.
I
But
and no one's really left, right? Right? Tibbs is gone. The players are
Tibbs is
gone.
gone. Yes. I was looking it up today. There's a great piece online that somebody did a few years ago on Jeff Teague. It's like one of those Sports Illustrated local things, I think, in whatever market Jeff Teague was in. And Jeff Teague just gives a tremendous play-by-play on what happened that day. It's fantastic. It's really
Oh, the
uh,
practice.
yeah, at the practice, he
Okay.
gives you the whole thing. He gives you the whole thing with F bombs included, by the way. It's a great play by play. Just and Jeff Teague was greatly amused by what was going on. I forgot he was with us then.
Yeah. Starting
Yeah,
point guard, right?
yeah. Tibbs brought him in too because he didn't like the point guards they had. Anyway, that's
Wow.
it'll be fun, man. It'll be great. And if that place of I think if you're a Wolves fan, and they were, oh, Luca, we don't like Luca, and some people don't like LeBron, and we don't. This team's eminently more hateable
Oh,
because of the
Draymond and
past.
Jimmy?
Jimmy,
It's not
yeah,
even close.
eminently more hateable than And Jimmy has Jimmy played here once,
Couple of
right?
times. He
But
got
but then
traded to the Sixers.
he had rest this year, right?
Yeah, yeah. So he got traded to the Sixers and played here and got, of course, booed. And
Yeah.
then the last time he played here was with the Heat in 2021. That's it. He's never
Yes.
played here since.
And he always came up with he was either actually injured or came up with a day of rest, right? And didn't show up in the arena. So
Had no interest in playing. I think he might have been on the bench once, but I mean, he hasn't played here
what
since
is he
21.
now? 30? He's got to be 35, right?
I think he's 35. Yeah, I think Steph's
Yeah.
36 and he's 35.
Yeah. Steph looks doesn't look that. I mean, Steph is still, man. When you can go along the first half and everything's fine and he's not lighting it up and he's missing, but you're about 8 minutes into the second half, and he makes that first one. You say, "Oh,"
Yep.
because the next 5 out of 6 are going in, man. When he gets the range, he's unbelievable.
Yep. When he
It
starts to
is
hit.
it is incredible though. What coming out of high school, the best he could do was what was it?
Davidson.
Davidson. Davidson. No, nobody else. He had very few offers. As the son of a very great NBA shooter,
Yes.
Del Curry. That's what's amazing that nobody offered him a
I know.
scholarship.
I know.
Yeah,
Dell was a great player. I love Del
yeah,
Curry.
good. Yeah, he's a sixth, seventh man, and he'd come in and shoot.
Yeah.
He
Very
would have.
effective.
Too bad Dell Dell was playing when we weren't as three crazy. When
Oh,
the
God, yeah.
metrics hadn't taken over, and they'd, if he'd been playing in the last decade, he would have been shooting 22 threes a game
Mm-hmm.
instead of 5 or something like that. It is
Absolutely.
incredible to go back and look. And as I've said before, I looked at the 1989 first ever game in the Metrodome. The Bulls are in town. The Bulls took 1-3. Michael Jordan made it. The Lakers came to town in December. They took 3 threes. Yeah, and the only reason the Wolves took more than that is that they were behind, and they were letting you know Tony or somebody throw up threes at the
Right.
end, but they had no, the NBA had no interest in it. It was just this gimmick. But
No.
they had it before the colleges, right? They had it, yeah, the
Yes.
college.
Yes. Well, and
What the
when
college did is they moved it up 4 feet.
to 1909, which was
Yeah,
ridiculous.
yes, it was. Yeah, it was, and it's now, you know, it now is somewhat ridiculous in certain colleges. So
Mm-hmm.
anyway, yeah, it'll be great, and I guess from a media standpoint, if we would have had them both playing, it'd be too great, right? It would have been unbelievable if the Wild we never happened.
Nope.
28 years now that it's never happened that both of them made it to the second round.
How incredible is that, though?
It is. It's
Like,
pretty.
it's remarkable if you think
Yes.
about it.
Yeah, and with hockey, they've made it an ungodly number of times. They didn't stick around, but they've made it way more than even with the North. Well, the North Stars, the last few years, 16 out of 21 were making
Right.
it. So
Now it's
that,
still 16 out of 32. You're right.
yes, it's a little more difficult than it was, to say the least. What's your view of what are they gonna spend their 10 or 12 million dollars on once they pay Kirill another 4 or 5 million a year? What are they gonna spend? What do they got to do?
I think they have to get a center. They have to
Yeah.
get Eck is a good two, but they have to get a center that can win faceoffs, which they can't
Hmm.
do consistently.
Yeah.
Uh and it might not be a superstar, but it has to be a good player. I'm not even sure that because the free agent market actually for July 1st is not great. I'm not convinced
Hmm.
they don't
Have
have
to
to
make a
package
trade.
some of their prospects and make a trade for a center, but they need a center desperately, a number one center.
What is there a good Russian out there for our Russian to play with that he'd enjoy himself or not?
I don't know. Now
Yeah.
they've got this kid Yurov Daniil Yurov is coming over, but
Mhm.
a lot of times we expect, and Kaprizov is special, but a lot of times we think, oh, it's a Russian coming over, right? It's going to be
Yeah.
great. You don't
Yeah.
know that for sure, but I mean, if they want to advance in the playoffs, they're going to have to address that. I don't see a way around it. Now, the good news is this: Kaprizov's salary, his new contract will not kick in until 26, 27.
Yeah. So they
So
can
he'll
do
still
it
be
next year.
at a $9 million cap figure for 2025, 26.
But the emergency is to sign him now is you don't want to give a guy like that a look at free agency, right?
Oh, hell no.
Yeah.
No.
Now, can they sign him anytime during the season too?
Yes, but they can sign him starting July 1st. And I think for if everyone's well being and health, they need to
Yeah.
get it done as quickly as possible. But yes, they can
Yeah.
sign him starting July 1st up until,
Well, they don't
X
want him
date.
to get halfway through next season and the team's playing lousy, and he says, "I want to get out of here."
Correct.
That would
And
be
then you have to
bad.
trade him.
Yeah.
That's the problem,
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, there's you don't want to, you can't trade him. So
No,
my guy Eck, I don't know when he came back from injury if he was ever the same, was he?
he wasn't. And then he said at his exit press conference on Sunday that he also needs a core muscle surgical procedure done, which is a pretty
Oh,
big
really?
deal. So he definitely was not. He
So
definitely was still
he
hurt.
was hurt. In other words,
Yeah.
he was playing hurt, which
Pat, these guys play through. It's unbelievable.
oh,
The end of the
unbelievable.
season list is my favorite thing. You
Yes,
know, collapsed
eight,
lungs.
9 injuries. Yeah, that we don't
NBA
see.
guys are like, I got a hangnail, can't go tonight.
Now, when they at the end of the year, they tell you what it actually is. Then, huh?
A lot of times, Tampa had this list. It was incredible.
Wow.
Like a broken, like Victor Hedman was playing with a broken leg. I don't know
God.
how you do that. It must be non-weight bearing. But I mean,
Yes.
it's this list, and then like in baseball, it's like, oh my wrist is sore. I can't go.
Yeah. Well, yeah. This they don't. What would what would Rocco be as a hockey coach? He's he'd be he'd be jumping. Would he be allowed to jump out on the ice and
No,
shuffle over there in his street shoes every time somebody
no,
got knocked down? You know.
it's unbelievable. No, he would not be. Thank God.
No. Who was he rushing out to third base the other day to see the guy? The guy slid back into the base or something, and he flinched
Oh
a little bit.
yeah,
And Rocco was out there. I think that was on the road, wasn't it? I'm not
in
sure.
Boston, I think.
I said,
Yes.
Rocco, go back where you belong, for God's sakes. Make the guy go like this. Unbelievable.
Oh yeah,
They
no.
Eddie Julian heading back to St. Paul. Did you see that?
I did, and he did not get a sniff of the field in Boston after he one overslid the bag on Friday night and got
Yes,
tagged
yes.
out, and then couldn't handle what was a hot shot to second. But the
Yeah.
majority of guys make that play. He didn't play on Saturday or Sunday.
Yeah, they can't play him on first, and they can't. He's he's in the doghouse because of his fielding. And well, I made this admission earlier today. I was watching yesterday, right?
Yep.
Watching the start of the game. First of all, they let the pop-up fly drop because the shortstop backs off on it. Bride, or the third baseman, whoever this
Jonah
guy is,
Bride.
Jonah Bride, lets it drop, and then Larnick backs off, and I swear at the television. And then second inning, he plays the infield up
I
with
know.
runners on second and third,
I know.
one out. Second inning, you're already ahead. It drives me insane. I'm done. I turned it off. I never watched another play. About 3 hours later, I look and see they won the game. But the way they won the game was, just a bunch of bloop singles by a bunch of bloop players, right? So,
Well,
anyway,
and why are you playing your infield up in the second inning in Boston,
I don't have
of
any
all
idea.
places?
Yes, I know Crochet is pitching and he's good, but and Rocco also very defensive in Bobby Nightingale's piece today about getting the guy thrown out at home every other game. The
Oh,
go on contact play.
contact play.
He
Yeah.
says it's been worked for us plenty. Not this year. This year you got to be about 1 for 8. I've seen 7 guys get thrown out. This
I hate it.
Kirsty set a new record for getting thrown out though. He was out by 25 feet and kept running. And by the way, he didn't get set back today. He didn't. He survived. He's batting. I think I looked in the paper. 69. I think he's 2 for 29. Or what is he here for? I guess because he's an outfielder and they need a reserve
Yeah.
outfielder, but they're just bad, man. And the pitching's good. The pitching is
Yeah.
good, man. I
Starting
mean,
pitching's been fantastic.
yeah, and the bullpen's okay unless you lose Alcala. He
Right.
was defending Alcala today, but I got news for Alcala. I saw Tonkin pitched a couple of scoreless innings the other day. So, why we think he can help, I don't know. But I would assume Alcala is going to be the guy that gets sent out when they do. But
Now Gasper's out too. Your guy,
yeah,
Mickey Gasper,
they optioned
for
him.
Willie
Yeah,
Castillo. Castillo.
don't have that third catcher now. Ooh,
I know.
I don't know. It's God Almighty, though, you know what we need for baseball more than anything? The drought to come back from 2022. Now, remember that year? I think they had one rain delay like 20 minutes before a game started. Played every game on schedule. Drought. I've done this before, but drought and baseball go together beautifully. We should have more drought. They've had 8 rain delays this
Yep.
year.
In
On
35
eight
games, is
games.
that right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
35
it's
games.
ridiculous.
But it's happening all over
But
this.
In Cleveland, they put him into delay and it didn't rain.
Yes,
So
yeah,
what
it
the hell's that all about?
rained for 5 minutes, and they delayed it 2 hours, and it rained for 5 minutes. They went by the forecast.
And supposedly Cleveland didn't want to burn its starter, and that's why
Yes,
they did it. Because it's the
yes,
home team's call at that point.
yes. And they didn't want to burn the starter, but it's Cleveland. There's that big lake next door. You can't predict the
You,
weather, what it's going to
you know
be.
what? Start times for baseball should be dictated by
Weather
before the game
forecaster.
by somebody who's not the home team.
Yeah,
Baseball
yeah,
should
that's
say you're
true.
playing.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't care
Yeah,
if you burn your starter.
yeah. You should have your weather consultant in each town to go with the umpires and let the umpires decide whether they're going to play or not. So
Independent, yes, I agree completely. But that's the stupidest thing. Like, what are you doing? You're sitting there. You're literally having the crowd sit there, or whatever's left, for 2 hours, was it?
yeah, well, there had to be 12 people left by the time it was
Yeah,
over.
exactly.
2 hours, but then they had another. Then once they started, didn't it actually start raining or something?
Yes, and then they put the tarp back on, and then it stopped again, and they
Yeah.
waited.
Yeah, I was telling somebody that I've always kind of been upset with myself for giving up ball riding, but then you see nights like that and you say, that's why I gave up ball riding. Who wants to do this?
Exactly.
Wants to watch it rain. Yeah. So
Exactly.
they're who we got this week? I'm so into it.
The very bad, struggling Baltimore Orioles Tuesday,
Oh,
Wednesday,
that's right.
Thursday, and then the San Francisco Giants, who have
Ooh.
overachieved.
I think that our fate is pretty well sealed here, but if we were in the National League West, I think it would be very well filled. We'd, you know, Colorado, by the way, their hot streak ended. They won 2 in a row. Now they've lost 3, and I think they're 6-29. Is that six and
And the White
29?
Sox have like 9 wins, right?
Yeah. Oh, the White Sox are much. No, they're in double figures. I think they got at least
Okay.
10.
Okay.
Yeah, I think they're only like 4 behind us. It'll be a battle this year.
What? Hold on a second here. The White Sox are 10-24. The Twins are 15-20.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, what was that? 5? Yep. So they're still a little ways, about 4 back or so. But yes, it's closer. But how about that? The Rockies are actually going to be, so they're 6-28. So the White Sox look like the 27 Yankees compared to the
Yes, yes,
Rockies.
and this has been going on in Colorado for like 4 or 5 years.
I
And
know.
I keep saying this, but Black never gets fired. What is it? Is he married to the owner's daughter or some damn thing? I don't know. It's
I will say this
unbelievable.
though. Look
It's
at a
not his
Rockies.
fault.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
was gonna say, look at a Rockies box score and tell me the amount of first names that you
Yes.
can rattle off.
You know what, though? Even through all the horrible years, their paid attendance has been pretty good.
Yep.
But it ain't going to be this year. Nobody can go to that game. Nobody can go to one of their games this year. It's uh, it's incredible what they've gone through out there, though. I'm sure they're trying to, you know, figure how do we get in the American League Central? They're probably saying we don't want to play these teams, man.
It's a shame
Uh,
too. Great
yeah.
ballpark. I love that ballpark, but
Oh,
ugh.
I do too. Yeah, I was out there. I was out there the first year when they played in Mile High. That was fantastic.
Oh, were
It
you
was
really?
short and left. Yeah, was out there for a series, and they were drawing like 50,000. And it was short and left and long and right or something like that. I can't remember what it was, but it was not made. I never got to see the L.A. Coliseum where they played that for baseball, but Mile High was not made for baseball. That's for sure. Especially in that, especially in that atmosphere where the ball goes.
Oh God, yeah, jumped out of there. So at the Coliseum, didn't in left field they have like a
A
netting
huge,
that was in play?
yes, a huge net. Yeah, and it played it off the net. And Wally Moon was a left-handed hitter,
Yeah.
and Wally developed the inside-out swing to hit pop flies. Sports Illustrated halfway through the year had a big story, Moon shot on Wally. I think it was like 265 or 270 or something.
That sounds. Yeah, I've
The
seen the
left field.
picture.
Then it went out there, but they draw like 80,000 when they came there. They were first, But well, the Rams were first. The Rams were there in '46, I think, right after the war.
Okay.
And they played in the Coliseum. And then I did something on this, and there was also a team in the same league that Cleveland was in, that AF American Football League, American Association of American Football or something. The Dons, and for 2 or 3 years they competed with each other. Both played in the Coliseum, and then the Rams, when they merged, the Dons got shut down. So
Interesting.
then the Dodgers came, but they only that huge. They built the Coliseum in late 20s for Southern Cal football, or 20 some in the 20s, and it was the only arena in town, basically, in that huge metropolis. It was the only arena in town. Man, that would have been a fun town to live in before the war, wouldn't it? L.A., when it was just
Oh
starting to
God, yeah.
grow, man. It seems like it was just a paradise when it first started, and
No smog back then.
now it's got a little crowded.
No traffic back then.
No, I haven't
No
been out
cars,
there.
probably.
I haven't been out there. I still love the place,
Do you?
but the traffic is incredible. It's just you hit the wrong time. I still can't believe that our wide receiver Jordan Addison got away with sleeping in a lane not not far from the airport, even if it was 3 o'clock in the morning. I know, the way people are flying at
I
that
know.
time of night.
I thought
How
the same thing.
somebody didn't rear end him and kill him, I have no idea.
It is a miracle.
Did that ever get litigated? I supposedly it was supposed to come up in January, but it didn't happen.
I think it got delayed. I
It
fully
got late
expect.
at one time, but I saw something like a
I
January
don't think it's
12th.
done yet, Pat. That's a good question. I still think that at
The
some point in
league,
training
the
camp,
league was waiting to
yeah,
suspend
but
him
the
or
league
something.
doesn't have to wait. I think in training camp we are going to get that he is out for at least 2, if not 3 games. That's my
Yeah.
guess.
Well, he, he controlled his. Did he have a license around here? Did he have a license here this year to drive? Maybe the fact he didn't have a license helped. I don't know
I
this
don't
year.
know.
But what do you? We didn't talk much about. I'm sure you guys might have discussed it occasionally on Purple Daily.
Yeah.
But so what's the deal on this second little fast receiver they got? What's that about?
Oh, Ty Felton.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is he?
So there's a couple of things. One is I don't think that they would be absolutely against improving their third receiver. The other
Mm-hmm.
thing is if Addison gets suspended, they're going to
Oh
need
yeah.
someone else, and then if nothing else, Naylor is a free agent after this coming season,
Mm-hmm.
and he might get like
They don't
if
want
he has
to. They probably don't want to pay him to
he
be
might
a
get paid
third
exactly.
receiver. So.
So all three of those
Mm-hmm.
definitely contribute. I think there's a chance at least that he's going to compete for one of the return jobs.
Oh really? Okay.
Yes.
Where is he from? Clemson? Was he Clemson?
Maryland.
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 Okay. All right. Did he
Playing
have
with those
numbers or
quarterbacks.
not? Did he have numbers or not?
More so his 40 time was
Oh
outstanding at the
really?
combine. Yeah, I
Okay.
guess the Maryland quarterbacks, I know you're going to be shocked by this, were a disaster.
Yeah. Well, that's yeah. I'm. They had a weird. They won a couple of games. Then they'd get beat like 50-0 by
I know.
somebody. It was weird.
They're still
Weird
not a Big
season.
Ten team, in my opinion, too. They're
Did we know they're not a Big Ten team? They're why they aren't in the ACC. I have no idea. I can handle Rutgers more than I can handle them. Rutgers though. They did bring us that New York market, because you've been to New York to know enough that you're walking down the street and these people stop you and say, "What do you think about Rutgers
That's all the
football?"
R hats I see. The
Oh
red R
yeah.
The red R hats, Rutgers.
Yes.
Let's go, Rutgers.
Yeah, I mean, it's all over the town. Yeah, we wanted the New York. They might be on TV there, but I can guarantee you nobody's watching, you know.
Yankees, Rangers, Giants, and Rutgers are really the
Yes,
preeminent
yes, right.
franchises.
Yeah, right. Yeah, the Nets, they don't get nearly as much attention as mighty Rutgers. Yeah. And it's incredible to me still that what are the costs for Oregon and Washington and the LA schools
I don't know.
to in all the others,
I
football
know.
fine, basketball fine, but in all the other sports, my God. Hey, we got a tennis match this weekend in Rutgers.
I
You
don't
know,
understand how. I don't even
no,
get that.
no, I don't either.
Like,
How
does
you can
cross
pay?
country travel cross country to go have
Yes,
meets?
yeah. Now, there. I think they're going to have to come up with a system where in the minor sports you play more regional, right? But
Yeah.
the rumor is St. Thomas might be in the Big East 5 years from now, or 3 years from now, 4 years from now. But because they'd like this market for basketball. But then what do you do? Then you got to send your track team all over the world, and I just don't see
I'm
how
with
you
you.
can pay for the bills.
I'm
Pay
with
for
you.
the
I don't
thing.
think that works. I think what works is in the major sports, that's fine. And then the rest of them are regional to some certain
I
degree.
to the point that that those teams, the second rate teams, still get a cut of the dough, but
Sure.
you should form new conferences, shouldn't you? I mean, in a more
Yeah.
regional. Yeah, I mean, the Gophers in softball and everything should be playing the Summit League, right? Why not?
Yeah.
Be playing in North
Or
Dakotas and Northern Iowa or
or
so.
can't you split the conferences off so that like the Gophers play the Big Ten teams that they used to play? Like, I got no
Yeah,
problem with
yeah,
Iowa, Illinois, those schools.
yeah. But you still have the Eastern schools
Yeah.
and the Western schools. I don't
They
know.
have no one
It's
else to play. Yeah, I know.
it is it still gives me a headache when I think about what the hell's going on. So anyway,
Very
well,
much.
hey, great weekend, and I mean a great week this week coming up here, and the series is going to be fun. And as we said, Golden State, uh, as far as anticipation, I would say maybe even regionally and certainly nationally, doubles in interest at least because it's that Houston team just was not. They had a great year. It was unbelievable. That guy should be coach of the century, but that's the guy that got fired at Boston, right?
Udoka. Yep.
Because he had a girlfriend or
Yeah, he
something.
had some
Yeah,
type of
yeah,
issue.
relationship. Yeah, and if he had that originally in Houston, they wouldn't have given a damn. Boston's a little more, Houston, you could
Houston,
add
they'd be
all the
like, "What? What
girlfriend.
problem?
Well, yeah, that's
What are you talking
eh,
about? We know nothing about any of
every
this."
millionaire with a big truck's got the same thing going
Hey,
on.
you know
What the
what?
hell?
In this town, we will always have to appreciate that before he got in trouble, Gerson Rosas took Ant.
Yes, that's right. He
Because
took and
it was not, it was not a Ant and then the rest of the
no,
class. There were a couple guys. So,
and Gerson, man, we had Tibbs, the old grumpy bachelor, right? Gerson brings the two little kids up there to the podium with him when he was introduced. And oh, isn't this family man fantastic? You know what that tells you? You never know.
you never know. Exactly right.
You
Or
never know.
or or he rented the family
Yeah, that's
and he
right.
was a bachelor.
That's what I always used to say about Phil Mickelson. Phil only had like two kids, but they never got any. But the ones running out to meet him after he won it, they never got any bigger. I don't know how that happened. So anyway,
Brilliant. Hey, before you go,
hey
sell me a
Scotty
car.
Scheffler, let's mention that Scotty tied the lowest score ever on the PGA, 253. I
Wow.
believe that was 31 under par, if I'm not mistaken. That means your golf course isn't properly tough for the field it's playing. And Scotty's a very good player. Yes, let's go. Jim Paul and Brett Paul, Valley Group of GM dealers out in Apple Valley. Tremendous number of SUVs that come in all shapes and sizes. Perfect for the family with a bunch of kids. Perfect for the family that's got hockey players. Those sticks fit in the back just nicely. And, right now, low interest rates, high inventory, and high factory rebates. They're priced to move right now. And before things get a little more complicated, get out there to Jim Paul and Brett Paul's Valley Group of GM dealers. They got great finance people out there. They have great salespeople, all veteran, experienced people, not kids coming out of college who just need a job for a couple of years. These guys are salespeople from the get go in the auto business. So, Jim Paul and Brett Paul Valley Group of GM dealers, check them out with the Buicks. The Buicks. Great Buicks and some good used cars out there too. They got the great Buick SUVs.
Sounds good, Patrick. Talk to
All
you on
right.
Wednesday.
Okay. Goodbye.
Enjoy. See ya.